Difference between nice and kind. Nice is a general term that describes someone or something that is pleasant, agreeable, or satisfactory. It's often used for polite social interaction and can sometimes be superficial or conventional. Kind, on the other hand, describes genuine compassion, generosity, and consideration for others' feelings and well being. It suggests authentic care and willingness to help others without expecting anything in return. Examples: nice. The hotel room was nice with comfortable beds and clean facilities. He seems like a nice person from our brief conversation. Kind. She was kind enough to help me carry my heavy groceries upstairs. The kind nurse stayed late to comfort the worried patient's family. In short, nice equals pleasant and agreeable, polite social interaction, sometimes superficial. Kind equals genuine compassion and care, authentic generosity, selfless consideration. Difference between easy and simple. Easy describes something that requires little effort, skill, or difficulty to accomplish or understand. It emphasizes the lack of challenge or struggle involved in doing or learning something. Simple, on the other hand, describes something that is not complex or complicated, having few parts or elements. It emphasizes clarity, straightforwardness, and lack of complexity rather than the amount of effort required. Examples: easy. The math homework was easy and I finished it in 10 minutes. Learning to ride a bike is easy once you get the balance right. Simple. The simple recipe only requires 3 ingredients and basic cooking steps. He gave a simple explanation that everyone could understand immediately. In short, easy equals requires little effort or skill, lacks challenge or difficulty. Simple equals not complex or complicated, straightforward and clear. Difference between hard and difficult. Hard describes something that requires significant physical or mental effort, strength, or endurance to accomplish. It often emphasizes the intensity of work or force needed and can refer to both physical toughness and challenging tasks. Difficult, on the other hand, describes something that is not easy to do, understand, or deal with, often due to complexity or obstacles. It emphasizes the complications or barriers that make something challenging. Examples: hard construction work is hard and requires physical strength and stamina. She studied hard for the exam and spent many hours reviewing notes. Difficult. The difficult puzzle required careful thinking and problem-solving skills. It's difficult to learn a new language without regular practice and exposure. In short, hard equals requires significant effort or strength, intensity of work or force. Difficult equals not easy due to complexity, complications, or barriers. Difference between new and fresh. New describes something that has recently been made, acquired, or has not existed before. It emphasizes the recency of creation or the fact that something is being encountered for the first time. Fresh, on the other hand, describes something that is recently made, obtained, or has retained its original quality without becoming stale, old, or deteriorated. It often relates to food, air, or experiences that feel clean and revitalizing. Examples. I bought a new car last week and I'm still learning all its features. The company launched a new product that's never been seen before. Fresh. The fresh bread from the bakery smells wonderful and tastes amazing. After the rain, the fresh air felt clean and invigorating to breathe. In short, new equals recently made or acquired, not existed before. Emphasis on recency. Fresh equals recently made and retains quality, clean and revitalizing. Difference between old and aged. Old is a general term that describes something or someone that has existed for a long time or has lived many years. It can be neutral, negative, or positive depending on context, and it's used broadly for people, objects, or concepts. Aged, on the other hand, typically refers to something that has improved or developed desirable qualities over time, especially through careful maturation. It often has positive connotations, particularly when describing wine, cheese, or wisdom gained through experience. Examples. Old. The old building needs major repairs, but has historical significance. My old computer is slow and needs to be replaced soon. Aged, the aged wine has developed complex flavors over many years in the cellar. His aged wisdom comes from decades of experience in business leadership. In short, old equals general term for long existence, can be neutral slash negative slash positive. Aged equals improved through time. Positive connotations, matured quality. Difference between clean and pure. Clean describes something that is free from dirt, stains, or unwanted substances on the surface or throughout. It emphasizes the absence of physical contamination and often relates to hygiene, tidiness, or maintenance. Pure, on the other hand, describes something that is free from any mixture, contamination, or foreign elements whatsoever. It emphasizes complete lack of impurity and often relates to quality, authenticity, or moral innocence. Examples: clean. Please make sure your hands are clean before handling the food. The clean house was spotless after the thorough cleaning session. Pure, the scientist needed pure water with no minerals or chemicals added. Her pure intentions were clear to everyone who knew her well. In short, clean equals free from dirt or surface contamination, hygiene, and tidiness. Pure equals completely free from any mixture or impurity. Total authenticity. Difference between bright and brilliant. Bright describes something that gives off or reflects a lot of light, or someone who is intelligent and quick to learn. It's a more common everyday term that can refer to light intensity or mental sharpness. Brilliant, on the other hand, describes something that shines very intensely with exceptional light, or someone who possesses outstanding intelligence or talent. It suggests something or someone that stands out remarkably from others. Examples: bright. The bright sun made it difficult to see without sunglasses. She's a bright student who always asks thoughtful questions in class. Brilliant, the brilliant diamond sparkled magnificently under the jewelry store lights. The professor is brilliant and has won several awards for his research. In short, bright equals gives off much light or quick intelligence. Common everyday term. Brilliant equals exceptional light intensity or outstanding intelligence. Remarkably stands out. The difference between quiet and silent. Quiet describes a low level of sound or noise, suggesting peacefulness or calm without complete absence of sound. There might still be soft sounds like whispers, gentle music, or distant noises. Silent, on the other hand, describes the complete absence of sound or noise. It suggests total stillness where no sounds can be heard at all. Examples: quiet. The library has a quiet atmosphere perfect for studying and reading. Please keep your voice quiet during the movie so others can enjoy it. Silent, the forest was completely silent except for the occasional bird chirp. Everyone remained silent during the moment of remembrance for the victims. In short, quiet equals low level of sound, peaceful but not soundless. Silent equals complete absence of sound, total stillness. Difference between cheap and inexpensive. Cheap often carries a negative connotation, suggesting low quality, poor construction, or something that breaks easily despite its low price. It can imply that corners were cut during production or that the item won't last long. Inexpensive, on the other hand, is more neutral and simply means something costs relatively little money without necessarily implying poor quality. It suggests good value for money or affordability without the negative associations. Examples: cheap. The cheap plastic toy broke within a few hours of playing with it. Don't buy cheap tools because they won't work well and will break quickly. Inexpensive. This inexpensive restaurant serves delicious food at very reasonable prices. The inexpensive laptop has all the features I need for basic computing tasks. In short, cheap equals low price, but often implies poor quality, negative connotation. Inexpensive equals low cost without quality implications, neutral and positive. Difference between famous and popular. Famous describes someone or something that is widely known and recognized by many people, often due to significant achievements, contributions, or notoriety. Fame usually lasts for a long time and is based on substantial accomplishments or impact. Popular, on the other hand, describes someone or something that is liked, admired, or favored by many people at a particular time. Popularity can be temporary and is often based on current trends, preferences, or social appeal rather than lasting achievements. Examples: famous Shakespeare is a famous playwright whose works are studied worldwide centuries after his death. The famous scientist won the Nobel Prize for her groundbreaking medical research. Popular. That song is very popular right now and plays on every radio station. The popular restaurant always has long lines because everyone loves eating there. In short, famous equals widely known for achievements, lasting recognition, substantial impact. Popular equals currently liked by many, temporary favor based on trends or appeal. Difference between calm and peaceful. Calm describes a state of being free from excitement, disturbance, or strong emotions. It often refers to temporary tranquility or composure in a situation that might normally cause stress. Peaceful, on the other hand, describes a deeper, more lasting state of harmony and absence of conflict or disturbance. It suggests a more profound and stable tranquility that comes from being free from worry, stress, or external disruption. Examples: calm. She remained calm during the emergency and helped everyone evacuate safely. The sea was calm this morning with barely any waves visible. Peaceful. The peaceful village was far from the noise and chaos of city life. After meditation, he felt peaceful and ready to face the day's challenges. In short, calm, temporary tranquility, free from excitement, composed state, peaceful, lasting harmony, deep tranquility, stable absence of conflict. Difference between brave and courageous. Brave describes someone who is willing to face danger, difficulty, or pain without showing fear. It often refers to immediate acts of boldness in specific situations that require facing something frightening or challenging. Courageous, on the other hand, suggests a deeper character trait of having moral strength and the ability to do what is right despite fear, opposition, or adversity. It often involves making difficult decisions based on principles over extended periods. Examples: brave. The brave firefighter ran into the burning building to save the trapped family. She was brave enough to speak up when she witnessed the bullying incident. Courageous. The courageous activist continued fighting for civil rights despite constant threats. It was courageous of him to report the corruption, even though it might cost his job. In short, brave, willingness to face immediate danger, boldness in specific situations. Courageous, moral strength over time, principled action despite adversity. Difference between confused and puzzled. Confused describes a state of being unable to think clearly or understand something, often feeling bewildered or disoriented. It suggests a general lack of clarity or understanding that might affect multiple aspects of thinking or perception. Puzzled, on the other hand, describes being perplexed by a specific problem, question, or situation that doesn't make sense. It suggests focused confusion about a particular issue that requires solving or explanation. Examples: confused. The confused tourist couldn't find his way back to the hotel without help. After the accident, she felt confused and couldn't remember what had happened. Puzzled. The detective was puzzled by the strange clues left at the crime scene. I'm puzzled by this math problem and need someone to explain the solution. In short, confused, general lack of clarity, bewildered state, unclear thinking. Puzzled equals perplexed by specific issue, focused confusion, needs explanation. Difference between curious and interested. Curious describes a strong desire to learn, know, or investigate something, often driven by natural inquisitiveness or wonder. It suggests an active seeking of information or understanding about unfamiliar or intriguing subjects. Interested, on the other hand, describes having attention drawn to or being engaged by something, but without necessarily the same intense drive to investigate. It can be more passive and indicates appeal or attraction to a subject. Examples: curious. The curious child asked dozens of questions about how the airplane flies. I'm curious about what life was like in ancient civilizations. Interested, she's interested in photography and enjoys taking pictures in her free time. Many students seemed interested in the guest speaker's presentation about careers. In short, curious equals strong desire to investigate, active seeking of knowledge, inquisitive drive. Interested, attention drawn to something, engaged but more passive appeal. Difference between serious and grave. Serious describes something important that requires careful thought, attention, or consideration. It can refer to situations, expressions, or attitudes that are not casual or lighthearted, but demand respect and focus. Grave, on the other hand, describes something extremely serious, often involving potential danger, death, or irreversible consequences. It suggests a more severe and somber situation that causes deep concern or worry. Examples: serious. This is a serious discussion about our company's future plans and budget. He had a serious expression when he explained the new safety regulations. Grave. The doctor delivered the grave news about the patient's terminal illness. The environmental crisis poses a grave threat to future generations. In short, serious equals important and requiring attention, not casual, demands focus, grave, extremely serious with severe consequences, causes deep concern. Difference between loud and noisy. Loud describes high volume or intensity of sound that can be heard clearly or from a distance. It refers to the actual level of sound produced and can be neutral or even positive depending on context. Noisy, on the other hand, describes unwanted, disruptive, or annoying sounds that interfere with peace, concentration, or communication. It often carries a negative connotation and suggests disturbance. Examples: loud. The loud music at the concert created an exciting atmosphere for the audience. Please speak loud enough so everyone in the back can hear you. Noisy. The noisy construction work outside made it impossible to concentrate on studying. The noisy neighbors kept everyone awake with their late night party. In short, loud equals high volume of sound, can be neutral or positive, intensity focused. Noisy equals unwanted disruptive sounds, negative connotation, disturbance focused. Difference between wet and damp. Wet describes something that is thoroughly soaked with water or other liquid, often to the point where liquid can be seen or felt on the surface. It suggests complete saturation or significant moisture content that is immediately noticeable. Damp, on the other hand, describes something that is slightly wet or moist, containing some moisture but not thoroughly soaked. It suggests a moderate level of wetness that might not be immediately obvious. Examples: wet. His wet clothes dripped water all over the floor after he came in from the rain. The wet paint sign warned people not to touch the freshly painted wall. Damp. The damp basement needed a dehumidifier to reduce the moisture problem. Her damp hair was almost dry after using the towel. In short, wet, thoroughly soaked, significant moisture, immediately noticeable liquid. Damp, slightly moist, moderate wetness, not immediately obvious. Difference between soft and gentle. Soft describes the physical texture or quality of something that yields easily to pressure or touch, not being hard or rough. It refers to tactile qualities or sounds that are quiet and pleasant. Gentle, on the other hand, describes a manner of behavior or action that is kind, mild, and careful. showing consideration for others' feelings or well-being. It emphasizes tenderness in approach or treatment. Examples: soft. The soft pillow made sleeping very comfortable throughout the night. She spoke in a soft voice so she wouldn't wake the sleeping baby. Gentle. The gentle nurse carefully cleaned the patient's wounds without causing pain. His gentle approach with the scared animals helped them trust him quickly. In short, soft equals physical texture that yields easily quiet sounds, tactile quality, gentle, kind and careful manner, considerate behavior, tender approach. Difference between smooth and even. Smooth describes a surface that is free from roughness, bumps, or irregularities when touched or observed. It refers to the texture or quality of having no friction or obstacles that would impede movement across the surface. Even, on the other hand, describes something that is uniform, level, or balanced without variations in height, depth, or distribution. It emphasizes consistency and regularity rather than texture. Examples: smooth. The smooth marble countertop felt wonderful to touch and was easy to clean. The car's smooth ride made the long journey very comfortable for passengers. Even. The carpenter made sure the floor was perfectly even before installing the tiles. She applied the paint in even strokes to create a uniform appearance. In short, smooth equals free from roughness, no friction or obstacles, texture focused, even, uniform and level, consistent without variations, regularity focused. Difference between rough and harsh. Rough describes a surface, texture, or treatment that is not smooth, gentle, or refined. It refers to physical qualities that are coarse, bumpy, or uneven, or behavior that lacks gentleness but isn't necessarily cruel. Harsh, on the other hand, describes something that is severe, cruel, or unpleasantly rough in a way that causes discomfort, pain, or distress. It suggests treatment or conditions that are more extreme and potentially harmful. Examples: rough. The rough sandpaper was perfect for smoothing down the wooden surface. He gave a rough estimate of the costs, but said the final price might vary. Harsh. The harsh criticism from the judge made the contestant feel discouraged and upset. The harsh winter weather forced many animals to seek shelter in caves. In short, rough, not smooth or gentle, coarse texture, lacks refinement, harsh, severe, and cruel, causes discomfort or pain, potentially harmful.